Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our advanced Bible study night, the 18th of July, 2023. What we be this topic inside the discussion is the apocalypse of Abraham. I'm just going to shine a light on that in its comparison with Genesis chapter 15. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening, and check out our videos. There's a lot of information given. The videos will connect dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay? And if you feel the need to donate, you can check out our cash app with it. That's running across the bottom of the screen. Okay? This is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the law that was given to Moses by the Lord of hosts. Okay, shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our advanced Bible study. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence, a prayer, Psalms, do some current events, still need more information. Then we'll open it up for some questions and comments. Then we'll go into the topic, dealing with the apocalypse of Abraham. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts, and all he's doing to orchestrate our deliverance in these last days, prophesied deliverance. Oh Lord, we come this day praising thee and worshiping thee for thy might and thy power and thy great understanding. Oh Lord, the end times that you have foretold unto our forefathers are upon us. Oh Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that thou hast foretold. Give us, O Lord, knowledge to divide thy words, that we are delivered in righteousness and in truth. There is great confusion among your inheritance, O Lord, now that you are awakening them. O Lord, we need you so very much in these latter days, and we will tarry and depend upon you, O Lord, because of this, there is none else besides you. So you are our Redeemer and our Deliverer. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to read a song. Okay. I'm going to read Psalm 25. It's a song for prayer for guidance and protection by David, Psalm of David. Unto thee, O Lord, do I lift up my soul. O my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not my enemies triumph over me. Yea, let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause. Show me thy ways, O Lord. Teach me thy paths. Lead me in the truth and teach me, for thou art the God of my salvation. On thee do I wait all the day. Remember, O Lord, thy tender mercies and thy loving kindness, for they have been ever of old. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions. According to thy mercy, remember thou me for thy goodness' sake, O Lord. Good and upright is the Lord, therefore will he teach sinners in the way. The meek will be guided in judgment, and the meek will teach his way. All the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimony. For thy name's sake, O Lord, pardon my iniquity, for it is great. What man is he that feareth the Lord? Him shall he teach in the way that he shall choose. His soul shall dwell at ease, and his seed shall inherit the earth. The secret of the Lord is with them that fear him, and will show them his cover. Mine eyes are ever toward the Lord, for he shall pluck my feet out of the net. Turn thee unto me, and have mercy upon me, for I am desolate and afflicted. The troubles of my heart are enlarged. O bring me out of my distresses. Look upon mine affliction and my pain, and forgive all my sins. Consider my enemies, for they are many, and they that hate me with cruel hatred. O keep my soul and deliver me. Let me not be ashamed, for I put my trust in thee. Let integrity and uprightness preserve me, for I wait on thee. Redeem Israel, O God, out of his troubles. Okay, that was a Psalm of David, um, a prayer for guidance and protection. So I want to shine right on verse 2. It says, "Oh my God, I trust in thee. Let me not be ashamed. Let not my enemies triumph over me. Yea, and let none that wait on thee be ashamed. Let them be ashamed which transgress without cause." Then verse 4 says, "Show me thy ways, O Lord, and teach me thy path." So we know right there that something like adding up right, because when it comes to the Old and New Testament, because he tells us to follow the old path. And David just said, teach him the path, the old path. So not saying nothing new, the same way that his covenant was set up and designed back in the day when David and Solomon was living. It's the same day. And didn't nothing change. Ain't nobody come and didn't get changed. And then he tell us to change now. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to go into some current events.
Welcome to Asian Quick Take. I'm Jacob. China's economy totaled $18 trillion in 2022, surpassing the US's $25.5 trillion. According to the IMF's purchasing power parity data, China accounts for 18.9% of global GDP, surpassing the US's 15.4%. US-China trade totaled more than $750 billion for all of 2022, with the US merchandise deficit with China reaching the second highest on record, behind the $419.4 billion deficit set in 2018, according to data released by China's General Administration of Customs. William Reich was a senior official at the U.S. Department of Commerce under Clinton and is now a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, a Washington think tank. He believes the data show that American consumers have their own choices. For months, Americans have been snapping up Chinese goods and stockpiling them. One report shows that 9 out of 10 items Americans buy come from China. Sources at Forbes indicate that toys, sporting goods, clothing, and many other items on the U.S. market come from China. The U.S. Customs Brokers and Forwarders Association found that warehouses across the U.S. have been at record levels for months, with more than 260,000 merchants stockpiling large quantities of a wide range of Chinese-made goods. Some U.S. consumers say, "We can't live without Chinese goods. Only China has a complete industrial chain, and there is no substitute for made in China." China dominates the supply chain for key commodities and everyday items. China is the world's largest producer of steel, solar panels, electronics, coal, plastics, buttons, and car batteries, and its auto exports have doubled in just 2 years. With its growing presence in electric vehicles, China has become the world's largest exporter of automobiles.
Do you know what your vehicles are? You would if you had this.
Key raw materials, many of China's goods have an irreplaceable position globally. For example, according to the U.S. Department of Commerce's July 5th announcement, the U.S. strongly opposes the implementation of export controls on gallium and germanium, two metal commodities. The data show that China occupies a leading position in both the reserves and exports of gallium and germanium, and is the largest producer of gallium and germanium, with gallium production accounting for more than 95% of global production, and germanium production accounting for more than 67% of global production. China is a major producer of 20 key raw materials and also dominates in fine processing. Of particular concern to the U.S. economy is China's control of global processing and refining of rare earth metals. About 90% of global rare earth production and supply is controlled by Chinese companies, and 80% of the U.S. supply of rare earths also comes from China. Goldman Sachs Bank said in a July 7th report that Western countries may need more than $25 billion in investment to meet rare earth supply needs. Replicating China's 50,000 tons of rare earth production per year could cost the West between $15 billion and $30 billion. Global demand for neodymium and praseodymium, among the rare earth elements, is projected to potentially outstrip supply starting in 2028 as the share of demand from electric vehicles and wind turbines increases to 50% by 2030. In the financial and monetary sector, China is one of the largest creditors to the United States, holding $868.9 billion in U.S. debt, second only to Japan's $1.1272 trillion. Over the past years, China and Japan have alternated between being the largest holders of U.S. debt. Japan overtook China as the largest holder of U.S. debt in October 2016, which lasted for 8 months before being retaken in June 2017 by China. However, since June 2019, Japan has once again become the largest holder of U.S. debt. As of April this year, China was the second largest holder of U.S. debt for 47 consecutive months. Based on the share of foreign exchange reserves, the size of Japan's holdings of $1.1272 trillion in U.S. debt accounts for about 90% of its total foreign exchange reserves. Therefore, Japan hardly has much room to increase its holdings. In recent years, Japan has continued to run trade deficits and has seen an increasing demand for cash dollars, which has led to the need to sell U.S. debt in exchange for cash dollars. China's State Administration of Foreign Exchange released the latest data on July 7th. As of the end of June, China's foreign exchange reserves of $3.193 trillion and $868.9 billion of U.S. debt accounted for about 27% of foreign exchange reserves. Compared with Japan's U.S. debt holdings accounted for about 90% of foreign exchange reserves, China has a larger space to increase holdings. However, there are indications that China is continuing to increase its gold reserves on a large scale and is replacing U.S. debt, which is a core dollar asset, with gold. China's State Administration of Foreign Exchange data released on July 7th at the same time showed that China in June increased its holdings of gold reserves by 680,000 ounces, increasing gold reserves to 67.95 million ounces. China has increased its gold reserve holdings for 8 consecutive months, with a total increase of about 165 tons.
Okay, any comments on that? See the dependency that U.S. has on America. I mean that the United States have on China. They pretty much got them in the bag.
Shalom.
Okay.
I heard a little about that. In fact, today, where they're talking about mining for lithium. That's
Right.
going to be another thing that's going to be that people are going to start investing in that lithium, because they're moving forward with this electric and doing away with the oil from the other countries and just trying to get the lithium to make the batteries for all of this electric cars.
Right. Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot of it on the stock market. Let's just say it's this company, certain little company that everybody should invest in. That they have the I don't know what you call it. They tied to the battery. And they're saying that thing is going to be like Netflix and all that when they came out.
Yeah, they also said you'll be only have a certain amount that you could charge up, you know, within, I guess, within whatever time span they have. So if you use your, I'll just give out a number. Say, for instance, if you use your 460 whatever of the lithium for that month, that's all you can get until they allow you
Okay.
to get more. So it's going to be, because it's no cash, all it's to be by card. And so,
We're going to ration it out.
yes.
Okay. Got another current event right here.
Summit, set to be hosted by South Africa, has attracted significant attention and speculation due to the presence of a warrant for the arrest of Russian President Vladimir Putin issued by the International Criminal Court, ICC. Amidst these circumstances, South Africa has remained resolute in its decision to proceed with hosting the summit despite potential diplomatic implications. This development has sparked curiosity and raised important questions about the underlying dynamics between South Africa, Russia, and the ICC. Could South Africa's decision be seen as a warning to the ICC? What implications could this have for the future of international relations? In this article, we will delve into the complexities of the situation and explore potential positive truths that may support South Africa's position. The BRICS Summit, which brings together the leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is an important platform for fostering cooperation and addressing global challenges. However, the arrest warrant for President Putin has overshadowed the event, creating a climate of uncertainty and speculation. South Africa's unwavering commitment to hosting the summit despite this backdrop has sparked intrigue, prompting many to question the motivations and potential consequences of such a decision. One possible positive truth behind South Africa's stance could be its desire to uphold the principles of sovereignty and non-interference in the affairs of other states. The arrest warrant against President Putin represents an unprecedented situation, and South Africa's decision to proceed with the summit could be viewed as a show of solidarity with Russia, asserting the importance of respecting national sovereignty. By hosting the summit, South Africa may be sending a message to the ICC that it values diplomatic engagement and the resolution of disputes through dialogue and negotiation, rather than unilateral actions. Another factor that could be influencing South Africa's position is the desire to maintain stability and avoid exacerbating tensions in an already fragile global geopolitical landscape. The arrest of a sitting head of state is a highly sensitive issue that could potentially lead to further geopolitical turbulence. By hosting the BRICS summit and engaging with all member states, South Africa may be seeking to diffuse tensions and create a platform for constructive dialogue and cooperation. In doing so, it could be positioning itself as a mediator and facilitator of diplomatic solutions, promoting stability and de-escalation in international relations. Summit, despite the arrest warrant against Putin, could be seen as a strategic move by South Africa to strengthen its role and influence within the BRICS alliance. By demonstrating its commitment to the principles of the alliance and its resolve to navigate complex diplomatic challenges, South Africa may be enhancing its reputation as a reliable and steadfast partner. This could open doors for future collaborations and cement South Africa's position as a key player in global affairs. The decision to proceed with the summit may also be driven by economic considerations. Hosting an international event of this magnitude brings significant economic benefits, including increased tourism, investment opportunities, and international exposure. South Africa, like any other host country, may be leveraging the summit as a platform to showcase its potential and attract business and investment. By seizing this opportunity, South Africa can position itself as an attractive destination for trade and investment, fostering economic growth and prosperity. It is important to note that South Africa's decision to host the BRICS summit does not necessarily imply endorsement or condemnation of any alleged actions by President Putin.
Rather, it can be seen as a calculated move to protect national and international interests while promoting dialogue and cooperation. By hosting this summit, South Africa could be providing a diplomatic space for the resolution of conflicts and disagreements, ultimately contributing to the stability and harmony of the global order.
Okay. Any comments on that? Like I said, keep your eye on South African president and South Africa, because this stuff is unprecedented, and the West and NATO don't like it. Okay. So I got a little need to know information right here. Thought this was pretty interesting.
The California Reparations Task Force has come up with something I find to be very interesting. Along with asking for the state of California to write Black residents a check who are descendants of American slavery, they're also asking for the state of California to eliminate child support debt for Black residents. Now, it is said that the laws in regards to child support have been very discriminatory and have torn African American families apart. Now, it is also said that Black people disproportionately pay more child support than anybody else. Now, it is said too, because Black people do not make as much as everyone else, that oftentimes when child support amount were assigned, that it was done so unfairly. Now, it should also be said that 27% of the child support debt, also known as arrears, in California is, what's owed. And so they're saying, let's get rid of it for Black residents. It is unfair and somewhat predatory, right? Now, of course, some people are going to say, well, where does that money go? It is said that California collects about 14% of the back child support, higher than any other state in the nation. So California and most states that are getting some money off of the interest, they're just collecting a bag off of already struggling parents. Now, y'all notice how I didn't just say Black men, because Black women also have to pay child support. And so I'm not necessarily mad at them getting rid of, or wanting to rather, getting rid of the child support debt or arrears, because the other parent, they don't see all of that money. The state does. It's like, well, why y'all getting the money? Y'all not, necessarily taking care of any kids. Now, I know in some cases, parents who do get welfare, the state will mandate the other parent that is not receiving the welfare pay them back. When in a lot of states, they don't do that, but California does. They say, hey, okay, this parent is getting welfare, and you, the parent that's not getting it, you need to pay it back. And so they're also saying that disproportionately affects Black people. So they want to get rid of that mandate as well. So y'all tell me what you think of it. Do y'all think that they should get rid of the child support debt for Black people? Or do
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything about that?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, I have, and I thought that it was to what they suggested or recommended, shall I say, is to eliminate the interest on the past due child support in California, as well as any accrued interest, not to where they're not paying child support anymore. So I read that today. Right, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Which will be helpful.
So you did hear something about it?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Okay, so that brings us to Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything that they want to discuss or talk about? Anybody got any questions? Any information they want to share?
Shalom, everyone. I just wanted to share something I ran across today that not sure if anyone else have heard of this, about the FAA has approved the flying cars, and to pre-order one will cost you $300,000.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're
That's not
saying that it may. Yeah, that's weird. They were saying something about the license for that and the training for that will be something similar to pilot license, but not exactly like that. So yeah, it's out there.
okay, something. It definitely ain't pertaining to us. If it's 300,000.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
And then another thing too, you got to not only look ahead on the road, you got to look over your head, and somebody be falling out on you.
Right.
I guess something. Yeah. So I'm quite sure everybody by now, just in dealing with prophets of awakening, uh, understand who Zerubbabel is. You know. So with that being said, I thought this little uh, short video is like a slap in the face because I mean it shows you. I mean I look back in coming up and how you look at certain people or certain positions that they have created and you think that that person is knowledgeable and you know they got a lot of knowledge and all that, but these last days, the Most High waking the Israelites up, you come to find out that they really lacking. They're very lacking. Well, let's play this right here. This pertaining to Zerubbabel. See how far y'all.
Howdy, and welcome back to the Made to Reason podcast. I have got a very interesting one for you today. This is a messianic prophecy that I bet you have never heard of. It's found in Haggai. For context, Haggai was written in 520 BC, 70 years before the exile. At this time, the Babylonian Empire has collapsed, and the land is now ruled by the Persians. The Persian king, Cyrus the Great, allows the Israelites to return to the ruins of Jerusalem. Only about 50,000 actually do, and they are led by two people, Joshua, the high priest, and Zerubbabel, the governor. He's not a king because the Persian king wouldn't allow him to have that title. Their task from God was to rebuild the temple. They aren't very obedient, and the temple doesn't really have all the same splendor as Solomon's, but...
So you notice how the prophecy in Daniel 9:25 is to rebuild the temple. But they can't connect the dots. Check it out.
Hey, at least they did it. While this is happening, Haggai is given 26 different words from the Lord, and they're given on 5 days over the course of 4 months. The book of Haggai is essentially a compilation of these words from the Lord, and it reaches its end with one final word from the Lord found in chapter 2, verses 20 through 23. I'll read it for you now. The word of the Lord came a second time to Haggai on the 24th day of the month. Quote, "Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I am about to shake the heavens and the earth, and to overthrow the throne of kingdoms. I am about to destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the nations, and overthrow the chariots and their riders. And the horses and their riders shall go down, every one by the sword of his brother. On that day, declares the Lord of hosts, I will take you, O Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shealtiel, declares the Lord, and make you like a signet ring, for I have chosen you, declares the Lord of hosts." Wow. Okay. Now, Haggai is a prophetic and eschatological book. So much of what he writes, it finds its fulfillment in the New Testament as well as the end times.
Well, the Haggai writing is going to be fulfilled in the New Testament.
This passage is no exception. We are told that Zerubbabel will be like a signet ring. That is, he serves as God's sign and seal over the one through whom the Lord's reckoning will one day be accomplished. This is clearly a reference to the Messiah, Jesus, who, like Zerubbabel, will lead his people to the Holy Land and one day return to judge the quick and the dead. At this point, you might be thinking to yourself, Jesus came in the line of David, the root of Jesse, right?
Check this out.
And he's a high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek. But how on earth does Jesus bear the signet ring of Zerubbabel? Well, you'll be surprised to learn that he bears this divine stamp of authenticity in the coolest way possible.
Check it out.
Go read Jesus's genealogy from Luke, from Joseph rather, that's found in Luke, and then jump over to Matthew and take a look at Jesus's genealogy from Mary. They are both tracked back to David, and they meet their end with Jesus, but they intersect at one crucial point: Zerubbabel. Zerubbabel is their common ancestor. Jesus fulfills this prophecy twice over. I'll show you what I mean.
He says they got the lineage of Mary in Luke, and they got the lineage of Jesus in Matthew, and he said that both of them come together as Zerubbabel. That's that family.
Yes, sir.
You got Joseph on one hand, and you've got Mary on the other. And they go all the way down to Jesus. Okay? At one point, they intersect. Zerubbabel. How crazy is that? I mean, what are the odds? He fulfilled that prophecy twice over. I reckon this is strong evidence not only for biblical prophecy in general, but also for Jesus being the Messiah. It's just phenomenal. I hope you enjoyed that. Peace to you in Christ.
Okay. Is there some comments on that?
You could the Old Testament trying to make it new. That's evident. Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that's crazy. You know how many people around the world that go for that? Is there some?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like there's some? Yeah, so
Yes,
that's your plumb line, right? That's your plumb line. Okay. Yeah, so I was jittery around in some of these books, and I came across my this book of the Apocalypse of Abraham, and I don't know if I discussed this before, but I was dealing with Genesis chapter 15. Let me read that first, and then because in the Apocalypse of Abraham, I kind of had written it off, you know, but I started reading it, and then I noticed how profound this particular couple of chapters I was reading. So let me read Genesis chapter 15 right quick, then I go back and read what Abraham said about the situation in the Apocalypse of Abraham. It's Genesis 15 says, I'm just going to read, I'm going to read the prophecy, supposedly the prophecy of the 400, the prophecy of the 400 years, and what's surrounding it. It says, this is Genesis 15 and 7, and he said unto him, let me go back and read, start at chapter 15, verse 1. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield, and thy exceedingly great reward. And Abraham said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is Eliezer of Damascus? And Abraham said, Behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and no one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thy heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him to righteousness. So then verse 7 says, according to the prophecy, and he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds he divided not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abraham drove them away. And while the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. So that's why I want to stop here, because I want to show you how much information is being left out. Vital information is being left out of this situation right here. So one of the things was, it says, verse 4 says, behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, this shall not be thy heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy bowels shall be thy heir. Then here it goes, right here, verse 5. And he brought him forth abroad. So much in there. We're going to read it in a minute. He brought him forth abroad and said, look now toward heaven, and tell the stars if thou wilt be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. And he believed the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. So my point is this: understanding what he did right here is when we know when we're dealing with the truth. We know then if we're dealing with angels or dealing with the Most High, we on the right path of the Most High. Then the other one is verse 9. He told him, Lord told him, and he said unto him, take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove and a pigeon. So there's so much going on with that we don't, thinking like Hebrew, we're not getting it. So let's go to the pocket of Abraham and see how big this is. So I'm gonna pick it up and it says, okay, so he told him to get a he-goat, turtle dove, and birds and all that. And it says that he divided the birds not. So I'm in the pocket of Abraham. It says Abraham received a divine command to offer sacrifices after 40 days as a preparation for divine revelations. So he told him to make these sacrifices so he can give him some revelations. And he only gonna get these revelations if he makes these sacrifices. So it says, then a voice came to me. It's the Lord host. Abraham talking. Same story. Then a voice came to me speaking, Abraham, Abraham. And I said, here I am. And he said, behold, it is I. Fear not, for I am before the worlds. And the Almighty God who had created the light of the world, I am a shield over thee, and I am thy helper. Here we go. Go take me a young heifer of 3 years old, a she-goat of 3 years old, a ram of 3 years old, turtle dove, and a pigeon, and bring me a pure sacrifice. And in this sacrifice I will lay before thee the ages to come, and make known to thee what is reserved, and thou shalt see great things which thou hast not seen, because thou hast loved to search me out, and I have named thee my friend. But abstain from every form of food that proceeds out of the fire, and from the drinking of wine, and from anointing thyself with oil 40 days. So 40 days, this happened. It's 40 days before he made the sacrifice, right? And then set forth for me the sacrifice which I have commanded thee, in the place which I showed thee on a high mountain. See that? high place, on a high mountain. That's where Abraham saw him at, right? On a high mountain. And there will I show thee. There will I show you on a high mountain. There will I show thee the ages which have been created and established, made and renewed by my word. And I will make known to thee what shall come to pass in them on those who have done on those who have done evil and practiced righteousness in generations of men. Okay, we're gonna keep going. It says Abraham under the direction of the angel. So now it's this angel right here. It's saying his name is Joel. Joel proceeds to Mount Horeb, right? They journey 40 days to offer sacrifice. So let's look at that. See, this right here is them denigrating the Lord host. So let's look at it right quick. It says Abraham under the direction of Joel proceeded to Mount Horeb. So right, let's go to King James, to Genesis chapter 3. Exodus. See, this something as simple as this, a lie. So Exodus chapter 3, and Moses is on Mount Horeb, same place. It says, and Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, and the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, came to the desert, and came to the mountain of God, even a Horeb, same mountain. See that? And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in the flame of fire. That's Mike. But now he didn't trick it off and telling you it's Joel. See that? So it says, Abraham under the direction of Joel proceeds on Mount Horeb. And that's not who on Mount Horeb. Lord hosts on Mount Horeb. So that's a lie. So anyway, and it came to pass when I heard the voice of him who spake such words to me, and I looked hither and thither, and lo, there was no breath of a man, and my spirit was affrighted, and my soul fled. Okay, so let's look at it. So this is what happened when the Lord host show up. That's why it says that's what his name means. Another one of his characteristics is he who fears. And Daniel tell you what happened to him. He went limp. He went limp and fell on his face on the ground. So same thing right here. I looked hither and thither, and lo, there was no breath of a man in him, and my spirit was affrighted, and my soul fled. That's why he went limp. See that? From me, and I became like a stone, just like Daniel said, and I fell down upon the earth, just like Daniel said, and I had no more strength to stand on the earth. But check it out, what's going on. And while I was still lying with my face upon the earth, I heard the voice of the Holy One speaking. They got this angel named Joel, go Joel, and by means of my inevitable name, raised me yonder man, and strengthened him so that he recovered from his trembling. And the angel came, whom he had sent to me in the likeness of a man, and grasped me by my right hand, and set me up on my feet, and said to me, stand up, Abraham, friend of God, who loved thee, and let not the trembling of man seize thee. For lo, I have been sent to thee to strengthen thee and to bless thee in the name of God, who love thee, the creator of the celestial and the terrestrial. Be fearless and hasten to him. I am called Joel, by him who moved that which existed with me on the seventh expanse upon the firmament, a power in virtue of an ineffable name that is dwelling in me. I am the one who had been given to restrain, according to his commandments, the threatening attack of the living creatures of the cherubim against one another, and teach those who carry him the song of the seventh hour of the night of man. I am ordained to restrain the Leviathan, for unto me are subject to attack and the menace of every single reptile. I am he who had been commissioned to loosen Hades and to destroy him who started Sarah at the dead. I am the one who was commissioned to set on fire thy father's house together with him, because he displayed reverence for the dead. I have been sent to bless thee now in the land which the eternal one whom thou hast evoked have prepared for thee, and for my sake I have wended my way upon the earth. Stand up, Abraham, go, go without fear. Be right, be right glad and rejoice. I am with thee, for eternal honor have been prepared for thee by the eternal one. Go, fulfill the sacrifices commanded. For lo, I have been appointed to be with thee, and with the generation prepared to spring, to spring from thee, and with me, Michael. Bless thee forever. See how they twisted this all up, and bless thee forever. Be of good cheer and go. And I rose up, and I saw him who had grasped me by my right hand, and set me up upon my feet. And the appearance of his body was like sapphire, and the look of his countenance like crystallite, and the hair of his head like snow, and a turban upon his head like a appearance of a rainbow, and the clothing of his garment like purple, and the golden scepter was in his right hand. And he said to me, Abraham, and I said, Here I am, thy servant. And he said, Let not my look affrighten thee, nor my speech, that thou should be thy soul be not perturbed. Come with me, and I will go with thee until the sacrifice visible, but after the sacrifice invisible forever, but of good cheer and come. So all this going on, Genesis chapter 5:15. And we went, and the two of us together 40 days and nights. And I ate no bread, I drank no water, because my food was to see the angel who was with me, and his speech. That was my drink. And we came to the Mount of God, the glorious horror. See that? And I said to the angel, Singer of eternal one, lo, I have no sacrifice with me, nor am I aware of a place of an altar on the mountain. How can I bring a sacrifice? And he said to me, Look around. And I looked around, and lo, there was following us all the prescribed sacrificial animals, the young heifer, the she-goat, the ram, the turtle dove, and the pigeon. And the angel said to me, Abraham. And I said, Here I am. And he said to me, All these slaughter, and divide the animals into halves, one against the other, but the birds do not sever, and give to the men whom I will show thee standing by thee, for these are the altar upon the mountain, to offer a sacrifice to the eternal. For the turtle dove and the pigeon give to me, for I will ascend upon the wings of the bird, in order to show thee in heaven and on the earth, and in the sea, and in the abyss, and in the underworld, and in the Garden of Eden, and in the rivers, and in the fullness of the whole world, and its circle. Thou shalt gaze in them all. Okay? Then Abraham accomplished the sacrifice under the guidance of the angel, and refuses to be diverted from his purpose by Aziel. Okay, so it says, and I did everything according to the commandments of the angel. And I gave the angels who had come to us and divided the animals. But the angel took the birds, and I waited for the evening sacrifice. And there flew an unclean bird down upon the carcasses, and I drove it away. And the unclean bird spake to me and said, What doest thou, Abraham, upon the holy heights, where no man eateth or drinketh, neither is there upon them any food for man? but these consume everything with fire, and will burn thee up. Forsake the man who is with thee, and flee. For it, for if thou ascendest to the heights, they will make an end of thee. And it came to pass when I saw the bird speak, I said to the angel, what is this, my Lord? And he said, this is the ungodliness. This is Aziel. And he said to me, and he said to it, disgrace upon thee, Aziel, for Abraham Lot is in heaven, but thine is upon the earth, because thou hast chosen and loved this for the dwelling place of thy uncleanness. Therefore, the eternal Lord made thee a dweller upon the earth, and through thee every evil spirit of lies, and through thee wrath and trial for the generations of ungodly men. For God, the eternal mighty one, have not permitted that the bodies of the righteous shall be in thy hand, in order that thereby thy life of the righteous and the destruction of the unclean may be assured. Here, friend, be gone with shame from me. Okay, so let's look at that. So, like I was saying before, you would think that it's not that important, but right here in this pocket of Abraham, they're giving you the names. The names is being revealed, who's who, and that's what they've taken out. You know, or in the King James, they took that out, so you won't be able to write it back. So let's go to a situation in Zechariah chapter 3. Right. You'll see what I'm talking about. I'm in Zechariah chapter 3. Okay. Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1. So it says, and he showed me Joshua, the high priest. So it's the Lord of hosts. He showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord. That's Michael, right? But they're saying angel of the Lord. And Satan. See that both of these are titles, but their names is there. It says the angel of the Lord and Satan, Aziel, right? Just like over here. And Satan standing at his right hand. Same thing, we just read, right? But over there, they give me their names, which is of the utmost importance. So it says, and he showed me Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord, Michael, and Satan, Aziel, standing at his right hand to resist him. And the Lord said unto Satan, that Aziel, right? So you see what I'm saying? So they took that out. Let's take away a lot of that's taking away a lot of the story and a lot of the understanding on what's really going on, because they took these names out. We see in the book of Enoch, they got the names, and we see right here, Apocalypse of Abraham, they got the name. They took them out. Let's go to another place right quick. You see what I'm talking about. Exodus 23, right? It's really get profound, right? So 23 and 20. The
Excuse
Lord's
me, you
talking.
said Exodus? You said Exodus 23, son?
Yeah, Exodus 23, verse 20.
Thank you.
So it says, behold, I sent an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, obey his voice, provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. So we know his name was there. The name was there. Michael was there. Because we see it all over the place. You go to Genesis, go to Daniel right quick. That's why we don't know that the Lord of hosts, who the Lord of hosts is. So you go to Daniel right quick. Go to Daniel and you'll see they mention it right here. It's like I say, they'll slip up in certain places and don't take the name out. So I'm in Daniel chapter 10. Okay, chapter 10, verse Uh, it really become profound and pronounced right here in this chapter right here. But I'm gonna start at 18. Then there came again and touched me one like the parents, so he had a name right there, and he strengthened me, just like we see over here in Proclamation. And he said, "Oh man, greatly beloved, fear not, peace be unto thee, be strong, be strong." And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened. And he said, "Let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me." Same thing we saw over there. The angel strengthened me, but they telling you his name. 20. Then said he, "Know thou wherefore I come unto thee, and now I will return, fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Grecia." Their names was there, right? So, because about 21. "But I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures of truth. But there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael." See, you got Michael right here, but you don't have the names of other names. They was there. See that? And that's where
Yes,
the truth
sir.
is talking. The names is there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you say, "What are you talking about?" Let's go to one more situation, then I'll go back to reading out of Genesis 26. Genesis 26. Uh, no, Genesis 32. My bad. 32. Okay. 32 and 24. So it says, and Jacob was left alone. So they give you Jacob's name. You know what I mean? So Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled with a man until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint. And he wrestled with him, and he said, "Let me go, for the day breaketh." And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, "What is thy name?" And he said, "Jacob." And then he said, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed." And Jacob asked him and said, "Tell me, I pray thee, thy name." See that? See how important the name is? That's why they ask him. And we see all in the scriptures, they asking the angel what their name is. And you think he ain't telling? He told them the name. But they're not revealing it to us because it's gonna kill the narrative they created over the New Testament. So yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So let me get back over here where I was at. Let me come.
Shalom. Brother Leonard, when you first started reading out, right, with the name Yahoel, right? And then later on, as you were reading in that chapter, I think they mentioned his name, Michael, right? But they tried to throw us off, like you said. And then as you go on reading, it says angel. But starting out, it says Yahoel, right? It doesn't really describe unless you go in and do some research of that name. And I did because I want to know. It's curious to me with you reading that. And it says that the Hebrew word for God, but in the beginning it says reconstructed Greek. Yahoel
Oh,
was
all right.
reconstructed Greek, and then as you read on, it says the Hebrew word for God. He is an associate of Michael. Isn't that something? It's like
All right.
they just try to really denigrate him and throw us off of the
Right.
understanding of who Michael is. And when we understand Yah, and even in your book, it says Michael, he who is like Yahweh.
Yeah.
So
That's why
they
you need
give
to
him
know
the name.
names.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's something.
And
Wow.
that's why the prophets and everybody else asking names. Because the name gonna
Right.
tell them everything.
Oh
Right.
my goodness. Yes, interesting.
Yeah. And then
Yes.
and then like I said, Another thing too. If you don't know all this stuff, you're gonna say, "Oh man, what is this Negro talking about? He throwed out." Well, we know that Yahweh don't have. He can't. He ain't got no hair on his head.
Right.
We describe him in Ezekiel. So who we describing right here ain't Yahweh. But
Right.
you trying to make it out like it is Yahweh, but it ain't him.
It's not. Yes, sir.
It's something else I had caught me up in the. It was another book we was reading out of. Yeah, Enoch, a couple of days ago, and you remember when David brought the ark into the Jerusalem? He was dancing, and Michelle looked at him and
Right.
so wasn't he in a garment and girded
Yes.
about like this? So he David dressed up just like the Lord, like the angel that David saw,
Angels. Yes.
with the white on. And then we was reading the Enoch. He said 7 angels only these 7 angels can go into that crystal, into that temple where the Lord hosts is at, dressed in white robes. Come on.
Yes, this is interesting.
That's that fun. So and then, but look at everything that's going on. We read it in the King James, we think it's just on more regular stuff that's happening, like what's now. You know, it wasn't nothing supernatural about it, but the whole thing was supernatural.
Yes, sir.
It says, so, and then notice how he told what he told Azazel. Let's go back. It says, he told Azazel, and so this let us know that we can do this. It says, and he said to it, he said to Azazel, the other angel, disgrace upon thee, Azazel. See, this is what I'm saying. Right, with the right knowledge, you can talk like this. In the same way with the Lord hosts, I was showing you how David them charge him. He's powerful and he's dangerous, but David them can charge him because they know him. So he says, and he said to it, disgraced upon thee, Azazel, right? And for Abraham is not is Abraham's lot is in heaven. See that? Simple as that. He said, Abraham, you ain't got nothing to do with Abraham, but Abraham don't know that. He's sitting there afraid of you, but this other angel, because he knows, he said, you ain't got nothing to do with Abraham. Your lot is down there in hell what I created. That's where your lot is, and Cain descendants. You ain't got shit to do with Abraham. So look at this. He says, but thine is upon the earth, because thou hast chosen and loved this for the dwelling place and thy uncleanness. So he telling you left the holy high heaven, and they came down here and laid with women and defiled yourself. Now you want to come up here running up on Abraham. See that? So then he says, and Azazel ain't nothing nice. So look at this though. He says, therefore, the eternal mighty Lord made thee a dweller upon the earth, threw him out of heaven, and through thee every evil spirit of lies. This is where our lies coming from. This is the culprit. All the lies we dealing with, these where they coming from, right? So he said, and through thee wrath and trials for the generations of ungodly men, for the generation of ungodly men. See that? So for God, the eternal, mighty one, have not permitted that the bodies of the righteous shall be in thy hands. They ain't got nothing to do with you. So you ain't got no business being afraid. They ain't got nothing to do with you. Say, in order that thereby the life of the righteous and the destruction of the unclean may be assured. Here, friend. So he checked him, but he still said, here, friend, be gone with that shame. Get. He done broken down. He said, get. And then he said, for it have not been given to thee to play the tempter. See that? That's a title. Ain't that one of Satan's names? Like I said, Satan, tempter, all them titles. It's not the angels' names. So he says, and play the tempter in regard to all the righteousness. Depart from this man. Thou canst not lead him astray, because he is an enemy to thee, and those who follow thee and love what thou willest. For behold, the vesture which is in heaven was formerly thine, have been set aside for him, and the morality which which was his have been transferred to thee. So so look at this. Let's look at this big right here. He says, for behold, the vesture which is in heaven was formerly yours, right? But now it's been set aside for him. So now let's go, like I was telling you before. You're looking for the suffering servant, right? Look at it. It's big. So we're looking for the suffering servant that they've been fumbling with in Isaiah 53 for 3,000 years. Isaiah 53. Okay, let me get it. Yeah, 53. So look at this. Isaiah 53. And I told you, you were looking for the suffering servant, verses 13, 14, 15, at the end of Isaiah 53, leading up to 52, leading up to Isaiah 53 is the suffering servant. So look what it says. Behold, my servant. It's the servant that everybody looking for. Behold, my servant shall deal prudently. He shall be exalted. See that? So wherever he is now, he at the bottom of the food chain, but he's going to be exalted, right? He's going to be exalted and extolled and be very high. As many were astonished at his vestige. His vestige. What he just told you. He said, what y'all was wearing, that's been taken away from you. He gave it to the Levites. So look at this. It says, as many were astonished at his vestige was so more than any man, and his form more than sons of man, so shall he sprinkle. That's what the priests do with the blood on the altar. So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him, for that which they had not been told, shall they see. That which they had not heard shall they see. So we know all the lies they ain't heard yet. It's coming out now. So when they see these same Negroes that you beat down and whipped and did and dogged out, they gonna be standing up there shining with the vestige on, with their garments on. You ain't gonna believe it because they ain't been told to you. You got you thinking it's JC. But it's these same Negroes that you dogged out, that you went and got on the slave ships and brought over here and dogged them out. So read that again. Verse 15 says, this the verse before you go on Isaiah 53. I just showed you one nut bucket trying to break down Zerubbabel. See, so it says 15. So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him, right? Him is more than one. For that which had not been told him. See that? Esau ain't told them this. Shall they see? See that? And that which they had not heard, Esau ain't told them. Shall they consider when they see it? And that's what manifests itself right now. Right? So you see how much was left out in that little story over there with Abraham. But anyway, I'm back over here in the Apocalypse with Abraham. 14, chapter 14. It says, and the angel said to me, Abraham, and I said, here I am, thy servant. And he said, know from henceforth that the eternal one has chosen thee. He whom thou lovest, be of good courage and use this authority. See that? There it is right there. He said, be of good courage and use this authority. What authority? The way he just handled Israel. He told him, you ain't got nothing to do with Abraham. It was, I was up there, you was up there when the Lord of hosts, you ain't got nothing, he ain't under your lot. He ain't got nothing to do with you. So you can show up and do all you want. It's having the understanding. And the knowledge is what's going to protect him. So he told him, the angel said to me, and said, here I am, or here am I, thy servant. And he said, know from henceforth and that eternal one has chosen thee, he whom thou lovest. Be of good courage and use this authority. So far as I bid thee against him who slandered the truth. See that? So like I said before, I don't really conversate about it. But you can, if you want to go do the research on it, I'm thinking that it was Aziel. You know what I'm saying? That was in the garden. So anyway, so it says, he whom thou lovest, be of good courage and use this authority, so far as I bid thee against him who slandered truth. So this This who hook with the truth. These fallen angels, same ones, the 200. That's part of that group. So should I not be able to put him to shame who has scattered over the earth the secrets of heaven? See that like we were scattered, the secrets of heaven were scattered all over the earth. So guess what? Like I said before, they want to tell you this lie and say that all you need is these 66 books. So like I said before, just like we were scattered, the word was scattered. They got truths and scriptures stuck away over there in books that you'll never know they in. That's where these books from the New Testament and these so-called canonized books, they got some of our truths in it. So he ain't protect the word. The word got scattered just like we got scattered. And these clean animals. I don't know about nobody else. I don't have no clean animals. Shit, I want to sacrifice to the Lord like Abraham did, but I don't have the animals. Come on. So it says, who have scattered over the earth the secrets of heaven. See that? So these secrets holy. They got scattered. Come on. And have rebelled against the mighty one, said, say to him, be thou of the burning coal of furnace of the earth. Go, Azazel, into the inaccessible parts of the earth. Now, here, this is the part I wanted to talk about. So he says, be thou, this is why we don't see him. And this all these UFOs, that's all that is. It says, be thou the burning coals of the furnace of the earth. Go Azazel, this is a wicked ass angel, into the inaccessible parts of the earth. So that's why we don't see him. Depths of the sea, the inner earth. That's what they are. By some chance encounter, people is coming in contact with them, but they're in the inaccessible parts of the earth that we don't have no access to, because we humans, we only humans. So anyway, it says, and then look at this. That's their heritage. Ain't that something? So just like he brought us out of Egypt and brought us into our heritage to the land of Canaan, the inaccessible parts of the earth is their heritage. Come on. It says, and with the men whose portion thou art, and with the men whose portion thou art, that's the Amorites, okay? And these Canaanites, the evil spirits after they die, through thy being exit, and thy enmity is justification. On this account, like a perdition disappeared from me, and I uttered the words which the angel had taught me, and he said, Abraham, and I said, here I am, thy servant. And the angel said to me, answer him not. Look at this. Give him the hand. Answer him not, for God hath given him power over those who do answer him. See that? So when you entertain it, see what I'm saying? When you entertain it, that's when they get power. And the angel spake to me the second time and said, now, rather, however much he speak to thee, answer him not. When he talk to you, what? That voice in your head. When he talk to you, answer him not. That his will may not have no free course in thee, because the eternal and the mighty one have given him weight and will. So, like I said, if you sitting there on your couch watching Fred Sanford, and then you get an inkling in your head to go rob a bank, who you think that is? And you get all these whacked out ass suggestions coming to you. That's not within you, but they want to tell you that's part of the brain. No, that's these wicked ass spirits that's constantly entertaining or allowing them to entertain you. So anyway, it says, answer him not. I did what I was commanded me by the angel, and however much he spake to me, I answered him nothing. So much he spoke to me, but I answered him nothing whatsoever. The angel and tipped him off. Abraham and the angel ascend on the wings of the birds of heaven. So here you go. All this happened in Genesis 15. And it came to pass when the sun went down, we know that part, and lo, a smoke. We know this part in Genesis 15, a smoke of a furnace, and the angel had the portion of the sacrifice ascended on the top of the smoking furnace, and the angel took me with the right hand and set me on the right wing of the pigeon, and set him on the left wing of the turtle dove, which birds had neither been slaughtered nor divided. And this is why they weren't divided. And he bore me to the borders of the flaming fire, and we ascended as with many wings to the heaven, which was fixed upon the surface. This is the part I want to talk about. It fixed upon the surface. And I saw on the air, on the heights, to which we ascended, a strong light, which was impossible to describe. And lo, in this light, a fiery burning fire for people, many people, and male appearances, and constantly changing in aspect and form, running and being transformed, and worshiping and crying, or with a sound of words which I knew not. And I said to the angel, why hast thou brought me up here? Now, none of this, we don't see none of this in the Genesis 15. It says, okay, say I saw on the air of the heights of which ascended a strong light, which was impossible to describe, and lo, in this light, a fiercely burning fire for people, many people of male appearance, all constantly changing aspect and form, running and being transformed, and worshiping and crying with the sounds of words which I knew not. Say, and I said to the angel, why hast thou brought me up here now? Because I cannot see, for I am already grown weak, and my spirit departed from me. And I said, and he said to me, remain by me, fear not, and he whom thou seest come straight toward us with great voices of holiness. This is the eternal one who loveth thee. Okay, but himself thou cannot see. But let not thy spirit grow faint on account of the loud crying, for I am with thee, to strengthen thee. Abraham taught by the angel to utter the celestial song and praise for enlightenment. And while he yet spake, and lo, the fire came against us round about, and the voice was in the fire like the voice of many waters. This is what happened with Moses, right? So the voice in the fire like many waters, like the sound of the sea in its uproar. And the angel bent his head with me and worship. And I desired to fall down upon the earth in the high place on which we stood. At one moment rose upright but another rolled downward. And he said, only worship. Abraham uttered the song which was I had taught him, because there was no earth to fall upon. So they ain't even on earth. They suspended. They up in the air. They suspended the animation. Suspended animation. So it says, and I worship only, and uttered the song which he had taught me. And he said, recite without ceasing, and recite. And he also himself with me recited the song. And then to give the song, it says, eternal, mighty, holy El, God only, supreme, thou who art self-originated, incorruptible, spotless, uncreated, immaculate, immortal, self-complete, self-emanating, without father, without mother, unbegotten, exalt, and fiery one. See that? Exalt and fiery one. So I'm gonna stop right there. So that's who came. He says exalt and fiery one, right? So let's go where I've been going for 1,000 years to Ezekiel. I'm in Ezekiel chapter 1. This is Ezekiel chapter 1, starting at verse 25. This one, the whirlwind came, and it was 4 angels in the whirlwind in chapter Ezekiel 1 and 4, but I'm gonna pick it up at 25. Okay, there was a voice from the firmament that were over their heads when they stood, and had let down their wings, and above the firmament that were over their heads was a likeness of a throne. And then as the appearance of a sapphire, they go to sapphire he mentioned, and right. And upon the likeness of the throne was a likeness appearance of a man above upon him. Now he go to fiery one. He says, fiery one, right? I saw at the color of amber, and as the appearance of fire round about within it, from the appearance of his loins, his middle section, even upward, and from the appearance of his loins even downward, I saw the appearance of fire, and he had a brightness round about, no flesh on him. He ain't got no afro, no flesh. He's shaped like a man, but he's a fiery one. He's all fire. And that's why when Michael lit on the bush, he was able to talk to Michael, because Michael showed himself in his purest form from when he created the 7 of them. He created the 7 of them from the same fire right here. So when they in that pure form of fire, he can speak to them. And that's how he was able to, Michael was, and these other angels were able to come down in the fiery furnace and keep Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego from burning up. And then, a lot of people don't know it, but Abraham was put in the fiery furnace. In Jasher, book of Jasher, he came and did, long before he delivered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in Babylon, he delivered Abraham out of fiery furnace. Nimrod put him in the fiery furnace. And so they know that. It was, like I said, they know the names, they know all this. This is what's been taken away from us. Reason why we're not dealing with them. We ain't dealing with them in spirit and truth. Because they lied to us on how, the goings on, how it all operates. Any comments?
Well, that's something. Yes, Miss Michelle, that's something. And it's also, like you said, you have to know the names, because these fallen angels will try to manipulate and try to mask like they're one of the good angels until you loosen up to them, and then they have you going. And when you think you got power, that's of a good power is destructive. Because that's what their lineage is, from Satan, and they continue to mask themselves to say that they're the good angel, and if you're not calling the right name, like you say, and you have to research this, that you will be calling those spirits right into your life.
Right, and then like he was saying, they we don't know that, but they don't have no power over us. See what I'm saying? So that's the purpose of JC. It's them that's behind it. They the ones orchestrated all that. So we don't know the order, and we don't know who got authority, who don't have authority over us. So we being manipulated, we ain't all over the place because we don't know all this stuff. Yeah.
That's something like when you was.
Go ahead.
Excuse me, sir. I was just saying when you were reading about. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. When you were reciting the song, right, and it was saying without mother, without father, right? Most merciful.
Right.
That was something. Thundered voice. I mean, wow. Just that, chapter alone was that's something. Yeah.
Right. So all they give you, like this, that's where bacon come in at. Like the guys, like he was saying, they did all they was gonna do. Then they brought it to bacon. Bacon crystallized because he's the linguist. He the one.
Right.
So he want to get all this way. Like you're saying, you done made Melchizedek a whole person when Melchizedek is a title. You done flipped it all right. That's a way to bring it. So what was done when you look at it, they said make Jesus fit in all this. It gave it to him, make him fit in all this. So then he went, like I said, you want to say Jesus Melchizedek. Then all the stories that's in the Old Testament where the angels at, they put him there. That's what they did. Now it's coming out in the open. It's obvious.
Yes, sir. And you mentioned about the different like the aliens, in their like we're here, and then there's other creatures,
Right.
that are in other areas as
Right.
well. Excuse me, that they don't talk about, which we
Right.
know now because they're bringing all of this stuff out because they
Right.
know the end of time is near, and we're
Right.
going to find out, and we're finding out, and they're still not making it evident yet, but we are still finding out these things.
Right.
Excuse me, when you say suspended in they're suspended in air and not on earth.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And then he said that's their inheritance. So when you see that, that's what makes sense, because you can one angel, if he'd been there 3,000 years, he'd have been destroyed this place. Why he ain't destroyed it?
Yes, sir.
So they got and the example of that is when you go to Deuteronomy. He said he told Israel when they was coming out of Egypt, when you see Moab or you see Edom, don't distress them, because I done gave them that land they got. I gave them that land. Don't try to. I'm not gonna give you as much as 1 foot breadth of their land because it's belong to them. So go around. So we look at that and go to the angels. So they got certain places, regions that they got allotted to them. They can't, you know what I'm saying? You out of place if you anywhere else. And they know that, and they understand that, but we don't.
Just like Shalom, that just like Satan, the title has the earth
Right.
here. So this is his thing, and and he rules it in a sense where his angels go out seeking to devour at any time and in any place that they can.
Right. Exactly. Right. For a time. Because that time running out.
Yes, sir. For a time. Yes, sir.
Right. The time running out. We can see it unfolding. It's just like I was just reading where he was telling him, the time is coming. That time that came for him to, their time is up. There's a prophecy. That's what a prophecy is. There's a time span. Yeah. Okay. So anybody got any more questions? So this the book I got is the Apocrypha of Abraham, and it's Dr. Moses Gaster, Gaster. Well, it was written by two guys, G.H. Box, B.O.X., and Dr. Moses Gaster. Okay. I can show you the book. Let me open this up right quick. So here goes the book right here if you want to know what it looked like. Can you see that? Can you see it?
Yeah, can you hold it, sir? Just kind of turn it straight because it's kind of sideways. You got it sideways. Yeah, like that. Okay.
You see it?
You. Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's how it looks, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna say shalom, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow for our reading through the Tanakh. Say shalom. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Shalom.
All right.